Vijay Singh from GoFermenter, and we all know that blending is really a part of the winemaker's art. It allows you to provide balance, consistency from vintage to vintage, or to provide some particular flavor you're looking for. For example, if you want to drink a Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa, they all have to taste a certain way. And only blending can really achieve this. Of course, you have to have good wines to begin with, but blending is really important. So we're going to do some blending, and we're going to do it first like everybody else does. And you will see how that works out. And then we'll talk about GOBlend, which is a way of automating some of the note-taking, the blending, and the evaluation. So let's begin. We have 4 wines here. This one is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and I'm going to label this beaker 1. That's our wine number 1. The second beaker is a Sauvignon 19. That was a 21. This one is a Zinfandel 19. And then we have a Petit Syrah 19. Now we're going to make something that's predominantly a Cabernet Sauvignon blend. So we're going to, first of all, taste these wines to understand what we have to work with. When you're making a blend, you have to at least know your ingredients properly. So we're going to take each one and pour a little sample and do a standard sommelier type of rating. You know, the nose, taste, mouthfeel, and then write down these characteristics for each wine. So for example, this one is very dry, it has a medium body, it's got good tannins. So I write all this down: medium body, good tannins, color is good, and so on, right? So you have at least an idea of what you're working with. So this wine has a medium body, maybe we want to pump it up with something with more body. So we're going to try to blend it with something with more body. So we're going to do this process for all the 4 wines. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'll let you know that basically we're going to taste each one, write our notes down, and then we begin to start blending. All right, so we've done that. Now we're going to try to make our Cab Sauvignon blend. So my math is rather poor, so I'm going to take a bit of a shortcut in making 100 mils. So this way my percentages are mils. If I need a 50% blend, it's 50 mils. It makes life a little easier. So in classic fashion, I get my little graduates, and I want to make a blend that's 70% of my basic Cabernet Sauvignon 21. Okay? So there I go, pouring away. Gotta make it to that mark. And there we are. Now it's not super accurate, but this is how it's done. So this is my blending glass. So I'm going to pour my 50 mils of that. Now remember, I wanted to make a 70% blend, so I'm going to add in another 20 mils. And again, it's that same 19th century measuring process. All right, so now I have 70% or 70 mils of my Cab Sauvignon. Now I want to put 15 mils of the 19 in there. Now this beaker, graduate, is too big, so I'm going to go to a little smaller one so it's a little more accurate. So now I take this and I pour in 15 mils. Okay, not quite there. Right there. Okay. Oh, I got too much now. That looks about right. So I got 15 mils of that. Okay? Now I want to put 5 mils of the zinc. Now I get another graduate, which is much smaller, and now I try to pour my 5 mils. And this is the problem. So you end up making a big mess. And not quite. So you can see the challenge with this method. I mean, it's taking us minutes to make just one blend. And I've still got 10% of this one to go. Back to there, back to there. I'm getting a little sloppy now because I'm getting tired, but we have to make our blend. And there it is. That's our first blend. Okay? 70, 15, 5, 10. Okay. I think we need more Zin and less of the petty syrup. All right. So here we start again. To make the next variation, it's all over again. I start with my 70 mils of this, my second blend. Okay, now I make another blend. Now look, I look at my timer here. It's taken us over 5 minutes to make 2 blends. And every time I want to make a tiny adjustment, I have to start by making my base and then working on my way through, and so on and so on. And most people, after 3 or 4 blends, are just tired. They're tired of pouring and being out, and if I want to make this one again, it's a whole arbeit. So this is how it's done conventionally. With the GOBlend, we have changed everything. We are giving you a way to record the blends, a way to store the wine characteristics, and also to actually make the blends electronically, instantly. So stay tuned for the GOBlend part. I'm going to show you how our GOBlend device is going to revolutionize your blending. You're able to make 10 times more blends in a given time, do reproducibly, able to store those blends for future use, and keep track of everything. So let's see how this is going to begin. The device itself consists of this platform, this control panel, which has 4 separate pumps. So it allows you to make a blend of up to 4 different wines. It's all run by this tablet that's included with the GOBlend device. So I'm going to go through the various functions of this tablet, and then we're going to make a couple of blends, and you'll see how this all works. So the first thing we do, we have, for example, here 4 different wines that we are going to blend. Now, each wine has certain characteristics. It might be dry, medium-bodied, tannic. So we need to characterize these wines before we use them in a blend, because obviously we need to know what our ingredients are in order to make a blend the way we want it to come out. For example, this is a medium body and we wanted a heavier body cap. We want to blend with something with more body. So instead of using a notepad and scribbling down notes about the characteristics of the wine, everything is done in the app. So we go to the Wines tab here, and you'll see that it can give you a list of all the wines that you have already defined. For example, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon 21. If I click on it, it will show me something about it. So I can actually put characteristics, body, dry, color, nose, and I can adjust these sliders to reflect that property. I can also put in things like the cost, how many liters I have available, the alcohol content, and I can edit these. For example, I can take this particular wine and say, well, I really underestimated the body. I really need to add, it has actually more body than I think. So I adjusted that tab. Now, in our list of characteristics, I have put down 8 common characteristics used by sommeliers. But you can add your own words. You can say greeniness or fruitiness or whatever you want and make your own characteristics that are specific for your wines in your vineyard. So once you're done with your edit, you can hit save and it will save those changes. Now, I can also go and I can make a new wine. I can say I want to add a wine, and I can say the name is going to be, well, let's call it something like that. I can change the name. I can put in new characteristics. I can adjust that, and so forth. So this way, you can make your own wine list, which is kept here in the Wines tab. Okay? That's your wine list. And you can pick any single one and bring up its characteristics anytime. Okay? So now we're going to make a blend with these wines. So we close the Wines tab, and we open the Blends tab. And we can say, we can have things that are on our blend list. For example, there's a blend here called equal parts of all 4, and it will just put 25% of each one and make you a blend of all 4. But we're going to make our own blend. So first of all, we're going to take our 4 wines and we're going to set them under each of the pumps. So there's wine number 1, here's wine number 2, here's 3, and finally the 4th one. Of course, you don't have to blend 4 wines. You can just have 2 or 3 if you like. Okay, so position. I have my receiving glass underneath the pipe here. Okay? The first thing I'm going to do is, I've got some air and things in here, so I'm going to go to the utility tab and I'm going to prime it. I'm basically going to push this button and notice it's going to suck up the wine and it's going to dump it in there. And I do it for each one of these until it's coming out without any interruption in flow. Pretty cool, huh? So now this is our discard glass because it's just our priming, and now we're going to make our first blend. So we put a new fresh glass on and we're going to say set new wines. We're making a brand new blend from scratch. Okay? So on pump number 1, I'm going to first select what wine is on pump number 1. It's a Cabernet 21. Okay? On pump number 2, I have a Cab 19. On pump number 3, notice I'm just picking from my predefined list that I set up earlier. And the fourth one, I have my Petit Sirah. Okay? So now I've told the machine what wines you have on what pump. Now I want to make a 70% blend of the 21. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put in 70%. Then I'm going to go, and it's okay, and I'm going to go to the next one, and I want to do, say 15. Okay? And the next one, I want maybe, I don't know, 5%. And the last one, my math is always poor. So I could calculate that I need not 10%, but you can cheat by saying adjust for 100%. And it does the math for you and gives you whatever the balance is required. Okay, so there's our blend we're going to make, 70, 15, 5, and 10. All right, then I can say how much sample do I want, and you can do it in ounces or mils or whatever. So 50 mils is not a bad sample. I can change that. I can make it 75 mils. Sorry. 7, 5. It'll keep track of your counts and it rounds off to the nearest 10. So it gave us 80, right? And now I'm ready to go. So what I'm going to do is hit start. And there's my first. Now it's going to run until it adds in what would be 70% of an 80 mil sample. You also see the flow is going in by some little arrows that are flashing up in green. There comes the second one. Third one, just a tiny amount. And for the last one. You also know that the pump is slowing down near the end each time. That's because it gets better accuracy running slower. So it goes fast, and it gets really close, and it slows down. The accuracy is plus or minus 1 mil. So your 80 mil sample is accurate to plus or minus 1 mil. And you see what the machine says over here. It says blend is complete. And I can reset it for a new one. Okay, so we made our new blend. Now we can save this blend for use later. I hit the blends tab, right, open it up, and I say new. And then here under name, I can make a new name. So this is let's call it Demo Blend 1 or something, Demo 1. All right, you can call it anything you like, and hit enter. And then you can put some comments in there. You can also make your descriptors. It's got a lot of body, it's got color is bad or good. So the middle is kind of the average, and so to the right you're saying it is enhanced in that property. If you go to the left, it's a bit weak in that quantity. It also calculates the estimated alcohol because it knows the alcohol, the different components going in, and you just hit add, and now it's in your blend list. So if you go to the blend list, you'll see Demo 1 showed up, and I can get to that at any time. So I can recall this blend by simply clicking on its name in the blend list. And that's really all it is to make a blend. Now let's take this one. We want to make some adjustments here, right? We don't quite like the ratios on this end, so we're going to go up here and we're just going to change it. So we're going to say, okay, that's going to be 10% now, right? And then remember my math cheating trick? I just hit make 100%, so it made that 5. Right? So we've instantly created a new blend. We take our old blend, put it over there, get a new glass, put it down here, and hit start. And there you are. You got your second blend, just slightly different. And so you can do this all morning long, making tiny adjustments, adding a bit of that, taking a bit out of something else, tasting it, and back and forth, and storing the blends. So you can go back to the first one you made in the morning and have it make it again for you. So you can see if it held up to the way you first perceived it or not. So it makes this thing absolutely simple. Now, there are other utilities in here which are very useful. If you go to utilities, you saw the one utility we did, which was prime. And remember, prime was to fill all the empty lines so that each pump is already loaded with the correct wine. Then you can email this blend to yourself. You can put an email address in here, whatever you want, v@gmail.com. And it will send you an email with that blend. And you just hit send, and off it goes. Oops, sorry. Send. Send the blend list, send the wine list. You can connect a printer to this and actually have it print out a little slip of paper with the actual blend composition. We sell this little printer, wireless printer, Bluetooth printer with it, and you simply go to utility page and hit print blend. And look at that. Isn't that how cute? My wife loves this thing. She's an old school sommelier, and she'll tear this out and stick it into her little tasting book. And it gives you the date it was made, the blend name, the composition of the blend. Real cool. You can show a log, which tells you what you've done, how the equipment's behaving, any errors. Finally, there's also a way of managing your whole database. You can take wines and make them inactive. Let's say you run out of particular wine. You don't want it to keep showing up in your wines that are available for blending. So you can take that wine here. I can take this wine, I can take this wine, the CS19, and say, make it inactive. Okay? Inactivate. Now it shows up in the inactive list. I can make it, if I want to bring it back, I can simply make it active again. I can pick it again, I can say make active. And now it'll show up back in my list. See? There it is, CS19 again. I can get rid of things permanently by delete. Okay? The same thing goes with blends. I can make a blend inactive, I can make it active, and I can delete it. Now, the device is very intelligent. If you make a blend inactive, all its component wines are also declared inactive because they obviously cannot be made anymore, right? So anyway, the manual goes into much detail here, but you have to understand that it's not just a mechanical device that makes blending easy mechanically. In other words, making these combinations, measuring out the volume, that's the small part of it. A lot is the actual data management, keeping track of your tasting notes, keeping track of the different blends you made, their tasting notes. And for example, you could use the utility function to take your blend and email it to the winery, to the blend master. And he could then use that blend to make the actual production blend. So the GOBlend makes blending actually fun. You saw how easy it was to create a blend. Now we're going to show you how easy it is to clean the machine. You go on the utility tab and you go down to here where it says drain one. Okay? So we're going to hit drain, and what it's going to do is pump any wine in the pump back into your starting container. So you're retrieving any wine that was actually in the pump. Now you remove this, and you can use that for other blending experiments, whatever you want. And you put in some cleaning solution or water, whatever you want, hit prime again, and now this will run water through that pump into some waste container over there. And then, last thing you do is hit drain again, and now it pumps the water back into here, so your line is nice and dry. And so you won't get any kind of contamination build up while the machine is not in use. And I just simply flick it out a little bit to get the last drop out, and it's good to be stored.